And now, live from the studios of Freedom's Phoenix, Ernest Hancock.
Believe me when I say we have a difficult time ahead of us. But if we are to be prepared for it, we must first shed our fear of it. I stand here without fear because I remember that I am here not because of the path that lies before me, but because of the path that lies behind me. I remember that for 100 years we have fought these machines. And after a century of war, I remember that which matters most. We are still here! Today, let us make them remember. We are not afraid!
Wait, I got pushed a button. I'm sitting there talking to myself. Whoops, sorry. Hello. Welcome back to Freedom's Phoenix. Declare your independence with me, Ernest Hancock. You know, we're going to talk about in this hour. Donna, go ahead and turn down as the sun comes up in the window. We got this big window here. We kind of gauge the light for the video. There you go. That's good. And, man, the sun comes up and boom, it's Phoenix, man. It'll get you. Now, what we're going to do is this hour, I want to talk a little bit about the big, giant, humongous, Ron Paul sign. I mean, it just seems that Arizona, we just go big because they like going big. Dr. Paul is coming here for the CNN debates that are going to be the 22nd, I think. And then and Jordan Page will be coming in the day before, and then we have some other friends and activists that are coming. There's a guy visiting from Denmark. They had on Freedom's Phoenix. He's like, hey, man, I'm here from the 14th to the 28th, and, and here's my picture, and here's my bio, and ain't I pretty, and I'm 28, and I, want to hang and support and do and make signs. Let me in. Who's going to put me up? Well, we can probably do a couple of that. We're full with a bunch of activists. I mean, the same kind of stuff that are going to be staying here, but, maybe we can do a couple of days. But I'm sure somebody will take care of him because he's party. This is the kind of support around the world. Yeah, we're going to Arizona, man. We're going to have some fun. Now, what Shelton 4409 is doing, yesterday they were here doing the panels for the big 8 by 80-foot sign, 80 feet. I'm like, where in the heck are you even going to be able to put that up? Well, of course, a freeway overpass on one of the big ones as Dr. Paul is coming in from the airport. It's going to be, we know who you are. Here we are. Now, yesterday, let's go ahead and take a look at the design. Those of you on video can see this. It is in 20-foot, it's interesting. You have coroplast. Imagine it vertical panels. Then you have, on a grid system up there, you'll see that it has a checkerboard or the grid with the letters on it, and those grids are 1-foot squares. So that means that when we project this on the wall and we trace it out, we do the first 4 squares, 4 feet for a 4x8 sheet of coroplast. So we just put it up to the first 4 squares. I'll put the cursor up here. We'll just go 1, 2, 3, 4. And right here, we have a line. That's where we do the first one. So we only just trace out this part right here, the first part of the R, the first letter. Then we go, okay, that one goes down. We put another sheet of coroplast off, and we go 1, 2, 3, 4. We do the next one. Then we lay these out on the big, long driveway here, and we just lay it out there, put them together, kind of match everything up, then paint by the numbers. We just fill it in. Boom, 80 feet. 80 feet. Now, every 20 feet on the backside, they're doing the other one. Ron Paul 2012, it's only 20 feet long, 8 by 20. So what they've created is one big giant sign, and when they break that down and say, okay, we got our, exposure on the overpass and we're done and got that, boom. Now they got 4 20-foot signs that will go around whatever event. Just turn it over, now they got the other side. How we roll, man. Now, we learned this when we did if you Google Ron Paul billboard, and you'll see the big, giant billboard thing we did at the Stuckey's between Las Vegas and Los Angeles, out in the desert there. I mean, you're driving, all of a sudden you got, wow, where'd that come from? Big Ron Paul signs. Well, when we first did those, there was a lot of different ways of doing it, but Shelton came up with this really cool idea of just having the grid projected onto coroplast or whatever your stencil material is or whatever you want to do. And where it's only 4 squares wide, it's 4 feet, you're tracing out that one sheet of plywood, that one sheet of coroplast. Then you go to the next 4 squares and you do it again. And when you assemble them, it's done. I mean, it's so simple. We were like, this is the way to do it. So we learned that 4 years ago. So now we're doing it again. And this is the design that he had and what he wanted to do. Now the next graphic, boom. There you start to see it come together. We kind of just taped it together a little bit, and then we'll kind of dress it up and make sure it's all right. There's the Ron. Now, this is just to get the Ron is what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 sheets of 4x8 coroplast just to get Ron. So this is going to be, it's huge, sick. So that's just how they roll. So we'll go ahead and just let that play a little bit, a lot of the other stuff that we've done. Now, the same way is done for this, was probably the first sign, Ron Paul President 2012. It's a supporter up in northern Arizona that's on a high traffic thoroughfare, and he says, look, I got a barn. You make me a big sign, these dimensions, I'll put that bad boy up. And it's black on yellow. I mean, it's neon flashing, it's there. And that was, I think, probably the first sign that I knew of, a big, giant Ron Paul 2012. We did that back in... Man, it must have been 9, 10. I mean, that's been up a while. And Shelton's always, you don't want to aggravate Shelton. That'd be a bad idea because the boy's got video skills. And this has been an inspiration to a lot of people. A lot of people, they are, all I needed to know was that I could do this. I can do this. He can do this. I can do this. But, let's do this. So that's one thing that we've done. Now, we've gone small in a lot of other areas. There's still the need for the big, but a lot of the efforts have gone small, like the QR codes, different kind of, the social media has really taken off more. We have the dime card thing, going to silver, starting to try and create a free society and get out of the empire of debt. Well, there's a purpose, there's a reason, and there's a method for that. It's just, how many minds you can free. The event, we didn't get to talk about the Liberty Fest West event that was just this last weekend that Adam went to, and he said they had the production quality down. I mean, they said that they were streaming to thousands of people watching that online, and that may be the way of the future. We didn't do a Freedom Summit this last year, and we just couldn't get motivated. I mean, we're always motivated to bring the word out and everybody can see him doing what, and the bad things be a coming, and we're making sure our friends know. But, I mean, heck, all you got to do is just watch the debates, the media, your life, your neighbors, your friends, your family, and it's here. Our whole motivation, Mark Victor and I, it was all about just warning. We knew it was coming. We're just, look, man, we all got to prepare. That's one thing. Mark was on television here locally just a few nights ago, and it was worth putting up. The big reason he was all happy is because in his office he has Arizona license plates. These Arizona license plates that say, for freedom, and it's an Arizona plate, and it says for freedom on it, and liberty and freedom and all this kind of stuff that he has gotten previous cars, or you get them on your car, and then you have the front plate. They give you 2 plates, but here in Arizona, you only have to put on the rear plate. So a lot of people have this extra plate, and they do whatever. Well, he's got it on the wall behind him for freedom. An attorney for freedom, and this freedom, he's got crim law, criminal law on the other one. So he was all happy he got his freedom one up. Hey, got freedom. What are you talking about? That doesn't matter. Look at the freedom thing. So it's his claim to fame there. He's happy to. But they always go to Mark. When they got a big criminal, he's always good for camera, and he knows how the system works. He's not one of those paper pushers. He's one of those guys that, trial? Yeah, let's go to trial. I want to go to trial. Let's have a trial. Well, they don't like that. A lot of times they don't want to go to trial, certainly on the cases that he gets involved with, and sometimes I start to play with. When we come back, we'll talk about Arizona Centennial Valentine's Day. The Centennial is tomorrow. 100 years, Arizona is a state. and we have started minting gold.
Arizona has been one of the hottest real estate markets in the past, up until the last couple of years. Homes that were once going for $500,000 to $1 million in prestigious areas are now going for less than half of what the original purchase price was. That makes it a very good time to buy. So if you were ever thinking of retiring to Arizona's inviting climate and laid back and friendly lifestyle, now is the time. That's where I can help. This is Donna Hancock with Brangus Realty, and I have provided a way for you to search for properties that are of interest to you, all at your own convenience and without having to give out any personal information. Visit my webpage at donnahancock.com to start your search today. And when you're ready to make a move to Arizona's warm and sunny climate, please feel free to call or text me at 602-828-1819. Many are working hard to make sure Arizona is not only a beautiful place to live, but a free and peaceful one as well. So what are you waiting for? Make your move today by calling 602-828-1819. And don't forget to visit my webpage at donnahancock.com.
What if the key?
Test. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. You know, some board thing here. Test.
Is protected on the internet, right? Not always. Government agencies try to limit free speech and commerce on the net. Luckily, when they do, the Institute for Justice is there to defend your First Amendment right to free speech. IJ helped set the first federal precedent for internet free speech in 1999, and ever since has worked to prevent unconstitutional roadblocks in cyberspace. Visit our website today at ij.org.
DVD, books, music, instruments, periodicals, computers, software, electronics, photo, cell phones, office products, home and garden, bed and bath, furniture, kitchen, pet supplies, automotive, hardware, apparel, shoes, jewelry, grocery, healthcare, sports and outdoors, toys, games, used, and more. It's a department store at your fingertips. Shop.lrn.fm. Get all your shopping done, get a great deal, and a portion of your purchase goes to benefit the Liberty Radio Network when you shop at Amazon via shop.lrn.fm.
You know the Constitution like the back of your hand. You've read books, listened to podcasts, attended lectures, surfed websites, and watched videos. You've made liberty your life's goal, but something seems to be missing. Stickers from LibertyStickers.com. Exercise your freedom of speech with the world's most dangerous bumper stickers. That's LibertyStickers.com. But wait, there's more. You can buy Liberty stickers wholesale. Get them for 99 cents each when you put 100 or more in your shopping cart in any combination. Sell them or give them away. They're great for gun shows, flea markets, fairs, outreach, and more. Earn extra money, promote freedom, and spread the word. Need custom stickers, labels, or decals for your organization or business? Liberty Stickers makes them. Go to LibertyStickers.com to order or call 877-873-9626. LibertyStickers.com, the world's most dangerous stickers. You're listening to the best liberty-oriented audio streamed around the clock, on the air, and online. This is the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
To be a part of the show, call 602-264-2800. 602-264-2800. And now, Ernest Hancock.
Turn that dial all the way. Shoot me like a rocket into space. Loving every minute of it. Loving every minute of it. Loving every minute of it.
Except for me singing. Yeah, you know, I get your own show, because I can't. Nah. You know, we're going to have probably we'll have some people on tomorrow to talk about it, but Arizona's Centennial is coming up tomorrow. February 14th, 1912. Valentine's Day. So we're the Valentine State. Didn't know that, did you? Grand Canyon State, Valentine. So we're going to have Valentine's. Did you get me anything, honey? No. So that means I win when I get her something. I win. No. 7 years somewhere. Anyway, long time. So we've been together, and Valentine's Day has always been very nice. Now, what we're going to do is here in the state of Arizona, it was to be a big deal. And the budget kind of got in the way of everything, and they, whatever. They didn't make it as big a deal as I thought they would. Now, they have, around the state, these big Arizona Centennial things on the freeway. That's the only way anybody even knows. And then you have, there's some criticisms. There was one of Sheriff Babu in Pinal County that's going to be run for Congress and everything. He spent, many tens of thousands of dollars on new cool badges. For Centennial badges and new cool this and that and so on for the Centennial and coins and different things. Well, the whole point is that, really we need to spend tax money on that. But, it wasn't tax money. It was seizure money. It was RICO money. Yeah, hey, what's within the rules? I can do what I want. It's RICO money. So then the RICO money thing starts rearing its head. What? You guys can just, you take all that money and you spend it on, seriously? So it's like your own little slush fund kind of thing? Well, that means there's an incentive to go season stuff, right? Yeah. They didn't want that coming out. So that's being an issue a little bit. We're playing with that. Now, for the Centennial, there's something that is of interest. Now, you hear us talking about it and so on. It finally came to fruition. If we direct our attention to Channel 3, we look here, current events, Arizona Centennial, February 14th, 2012, Arizona 1-ounce gold, silver, and copper medallions available this weekend. Okay, and that was yesterday and Saturday. And today is a work day, but tomorrow's kind of like a state holiday. They're going to have events that are kind of lame. I mean, it's kind of like, we're down here at the Arizona State, museum, and we're just kind of hanging, and we got a booth over here, and you can do whatever. It just doesn't seem like they put a lot of effort into this Centennial, and it's not really much of a buzz. But I got a call last week from Karen Johnson, which was the senator. She retired, and she was one of the good guys, one of those really cared, this Constitution thing, and she was co-chair for Dr. Paul in the 2008 campaign. She was one of the first, if not the first, legislator that came out. Yep, Dr. Paul, done. I'm in. That was easy sell. Done. Before that, it was January of 2007. I mean, it was the first week. I mean, it was right off the bat. I think even before Dr. Paul, we even knew he was going to run. Karen Johnson had called me, and she said, "Oh, Donna, do you know where one of those the territorial coppers are?" Yeah, it's probably in the safe somewhere. This is what we're talking about. She was very concerned when all this New American Magazine stuff was going on about the Amero and North American Union and all this kind of stuff. Well, yeah, we're sure there was this strategic whatever alliance partnership thing where you had the Prime Minister of Canada and Bush meeting with, what's his name, in Mexico. I mean, all three of them got some kind of partnership and going and doing. Yeah, they're going to consolidate. And I mean, heck, we knew that was what NAFTA was all about anyway. It's just North American, you can't, we rule and we subsidize, and we're going to put all your farmers out of work and they're going to come America and because we can. This was a big deal when Perot ran in 92, making a big issue out of this and going on and on and on. But, I mean, the corporate media, they'll spin it however they want to do for their boys, and they're going to do what they're going to do. It's almost like we have to actually take the blunt object to the head before we even know that there's going to be a blunt object to the head, So that's just the way it is, and we roll with this, and we take this information, and we say, this is what's going to happen, this is why, and this is who did it, boom, it happened, okay, told you so, this is why, this is how they're going to do it again, boom, okay, now we need to know, and you take all that information, and you make it available on the internet, and you do it in a chronological form, you put it by category, you have the videos, you do all that stuff like we do with Freedom's Phoenix. That was one of the reasons why we did it this way. So what we did is we go, all right, We wanted to address her concern. Her concern was, as a state legislator, what could she do to help prevent this destruction of the dollar, the abandonment of our currency, abandonment of our sovereignty, to go to an international, fill in the blank, whatever, and they're all worried about the Amero. Remember hearing about that? North American currency, the Amero, oh my goodness, the Amero. We were talking to, she called, she said, Ernie, I mean, you're creative. We've worked with her on different legislation before, and she says, you're creative. I mean, I can't think of what can international currency, what can a little lowly old state senator do? I don't know. Let's talk about it. So Pal Gamble, senior editor, and I went, up there, and Pal's a smart guy. Now, so we're sitting there. We're just, what can we do? Now, one of her aides, Karen Winfield, she mentioned, well, there's a centennial coming up. We could do something with it. And I go, Now, keep in mind, this is January of 2007. So we're looking at, 5 years. This is, a while. So we're going, yep. Can we in 5 years, let's see if she got the coin. Can we in 5 years have Arizona in some way get to minting gold, silver, and copper? And how would we do that? Because our point is that we're going, look, sooner or later, all this fiat currency stuff, regardless of what you call it, it's going to go. And the states that have the capacity and the pipeline and the ability and the authority and the understanding of minting actual precious metals are going to be way ahead of the other states. Way. John Birch Society is working on legislation. They're getting it through, and they're all proud of themselves in doing in Idaho, I think it is, maybe Utah and some other western states that are like, we're doing our own currency. We're making gold and silver as a bartering you can have, and we mint, and you're allowed. So we're going, all right. Before all that, we were going, okay, how do we come across, some kind of legislation? Has this been done before? So Oklahoma and their sesquicentennial, which is their 150th anniversary, they had a medallion. As we're doing a search on the internet, there was a metal medallion. I'm not even sure it was any precious metals, just bronze or something. They had a medallion to commemorate their sesquicentennial. So we're going, well, we can do that. So we kind of rewrote it and got it in, whatever, and we take it to her. And we said, here's how you do it. You start having the state of Arizona through the state treasurer and the secretary of state, and they lay hands on it, and this is 0.99999, and they have the design will be done and all this kind of thing in support of the centennial. And man, everybody jumped there going, yoo-hoo! Yeah, baby, that's a good idea. We're going to do that. Except one legislator. Why would they say no? Because they knew we were behind it. Oh, the intrigue. We'll talk about it.
This Your Family Today tip is brought to you by Ovaltine. Give your kids the nutrition they need to be their best. Visit us at ovaltineusa.com. Telling your child about healthy food choices is important, but showing her what to eat goes a lot further. Have her help create the grocery list, then bring her to the store with you. Picking out healthy foods together helps kids get in the habit of thinking about what they're eating every day. For more tips like these, visit us at parenthood.com/yourfamilytoday.
Did you know that you can listen to LRN.FM 24/7 via our free-to-air satellite channel? From Mexico to Canada, our signal covers nearly all of North America. All you need is a view of the southern sky, an affordable receiver, and a dish as small as 30 inches. There are no monthly fees. Learn more at sat.lrn.fm. Plus, if you're a broadcaster or want to be one, this is a good delivery method for our content. See our coverage map and get details at sat.lrn.fm. That's sat.lrn.fm.
We live in an era of permanent warfare. America currently has soldiers and Marines deployed in Iraq, Afghanistan, Pakistan, Yemen, Somalia, Libya, and now expanding further into Uganda, South Sudan, Central African Republic, Congo, and Nigeria. Hi, this is Scott Horton, inviting you to tune into Anti-War Radio weekdays from noon to 3 Eastern Time here on the Liberty Radio Network, bringing you America's best journalists, columnists, lawyers, and activists on the subject of our overseas empire, its attendant domestic police state, and the folly of central banking, which makes it all possible. That's Anti-War Radio, Monday through Friday from noon to 3 Eastern Time here on the Liberty Radio Network, LRN.FM. Full interview archives can be found at antiwar.com/radio. Anti-War Radio. Revisionist history in real time.
If you want to move to the Free State and you're looking for some real estate, well, I know a guy who's really great. It's the Porcupine Realtor. Do you want a home with 20 acres, a lakeside cabin, any takers for renters, buyers, and sellers too? Mark Warden is the guy for you. PorcupineRealtor.com.
Now that you've found the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM, you may want to help expose others to our great programs. To assist you in doing so, you'll find resources at promote.lrn.fm, including details on how to get a free bumper sticker, quarter-page flyers you can print out and distribute, banners for your website, as well as files that will allow you to make your own custom banners and graphics. Visit promote.lrn.fm and help bring new listeners to the Liberty Radio Network. That's promote.lrn.fm.
Why did you move to the Shire?
I moved here to the Shire because there's other people around who take liberty just as seriously as I do.
I moved to the Shire because I saw videos of people challenging authority and thought that I could get support myself. It called to me, like, do this, right now.
I wanted to be around people like me who got it, and once I got here, I knew there was nowhere else that I wanted to be.
Immigrating to the Shire was easy. I was instantly plugged into a community of individuals who also care about peace, liberty, and justice, and are willing to do something about it.
The people here are awesome, loving, and positive. It was for the adventure and for the feeling of something important is happening here, and I just wanted to come to sort of be part of that.
Visit ShireSociety.com to read and sign the Shire Society Declaration and learn the reasons why, if you love liberty, you should immigrate to the Shire. Plus, add yourself to the Shire map at ShireSociety.com. That's ShireSociety.com.
While our satellite channel is free to listen to, it's not free for us. You can help us cover our satellite costs with the chip-in on the right side of the page at LRN.FM.
There are those that just want to be left alone, and those that just won't leave them alone. Which one are you? The Ernest Hancock Show.
Silver and gold, everyone wishes for silver and gold. How do you measure its worth? Just by the pleasure it gives here on earth. Silver and gold, silver and gold.
Yeah, some silver and gold. Silver and gold here in Arizona. Hey, we be minting it. Just got them last week. What happened was a state legislator was very concerned that we were going to be losing our sovereignty. And she was right. I mean, she was right in that there is a way that you can assert yourself. I mean, that you can really make sure that your interests are preserved when you are able to have a fair weights and measures, a fair monetary system. This is what Dr. Paul's been going on about for a long time. And what do you provide? They go, the CNN interview that they do with, it was Piers Morgan last week, and they had Dr. Paul up there. You know, what about the poor and the poor? And you tell, no, we got to have national health care. And, you know, Romney says he doesn't care about the poor and all, you know, and what say ye? And CNN is just, it's like their mantra to try and get every Republican candidate an opportunity to just hammer on the other Republican candidate, knowing that they're going to use this later in support of Obama. Well, Dr. Paul hasn't been playing the way that they want. But he has been, you know, very clear on the best way you can help the poor is by the government giving them a sound monetary system, or at least allowing for one. Heck, I just want competition. So that's what we were of the mindset, you know, even before Dr. Paul's 2008 campaign, and certainly from a philosophy that he's been advocating his whole political life. And we've embraced him before. So what we did is we said, look, we need to have a capacity, just even as inspiration, however we can finagle it in there, to where the state of Arizona is producing gold, silver, and copper medallions. You can't call it coin or money or cash or anything or real money or nothing. You just say medallions. Yeah, commemorative medallions for the Centennial. Yeah, that's the ticket. Once they start doing that, we said, and in sufficient quantity to supply all public demand. Because this is what we knew immediately what was going to happen. What the Centennial Commission did immediately, they embraced it. They thought it was the greatest idea in the world. We want to make all these gold coins so we could have them to give away. Yeah. We can allocate $70,000 for the purchase of blah, 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 blah. And they were planning on getting, 100 of these back when gold, I think it was 700 back then or something. So that's why they did. Their idea is that one, gold would never go up, certainly not that much, and that they would get a set number, and then they started picking who was going to get them. We'll give this to the CEO and head of the whatchamacallit, and this will get, I'm like, seriously? This is what? So we were like, look, we got to make sure it has two things in there. Disc-shaped, we described it. You can't say money or coin, okay? We knew better than that. We didn't want to play that game, get into this Liberty Dollar deal, So what we did, we said a medallion to be in disc shape, not to exceed 5 millimeters in thickness, to have, medallions up to 1 ounce, okay? And produced in sufficient quantity to supply all public demand. So there are two things. One, we wanted medallions up to, so they could be more than just one denomination. In law, it would be 1 ounce, of course, is what they'd make. And then you could do half ounce, 10th ounce, quarter ounce, whatever you wanted to do. Whatever. Now, we wanted gold, silver, and copper, and they thought it'd be easier just to do the gold and kind of commemorative thing, and they just had the gold. But we wanted silver and copper. It'd be easier just to do one metal. But we were cool with that because we knew what would happen. Around the state of Arizona, it's big mining. You have big copper mines in the southeastern part of the state. And they go, hey, man, what up? Aren't we the copper state? You're not going to have copper? Seriously? We got Copper Dome on the Capitol. You're not doing copper? You have copper? So, of course, that was going to get added. Wickenburg and a lot of silver mining, that created a lot of Arizona was silver. Like Nevada, that's a silver state. So here they're going, you're not going to have silver. You don't have silver. So silver got added later on. So we got gold, silver, copper. The other thing is that we wanted to have sufficient quantity to supply all public demand. Well, then they freaked out and they're going, well, we only allocated X amount of dollars. And I go, they're contacting Karen Johnson. They need to amend it. And how are we going to do this? And they're not thinking straight. What happened is they had a list of all these people they wanted to give the gold medallions to, and all of a sudden, gold doubled. So that got half. You got to cut off half of the people that are going to be on their list. That was their big motivation for doing silver and copper, is because they couldn't afford to give all the coins they wanted to somebody. Oh, I'm sorry, medallions. So we're going, all right. I go, it's very simple. It's just, all prepaid public demand. Just add prepaid in there. Doesn't cost you a freaking dime. Seriously, these people they're government. Government, bureaucrats, government, they think government, collective government, accumulate money, spend somebody else's government. I mean, you just want to, so they add prepaid. Which you got to put it in law or they don't see it. I mean, it's just amazing. So they went ahead and added prepaid public demand. Now, we put in there not to exceed 10% over cost. Well, cost is not necessarily spot. So the one single gold medallion that they have available, they go, yes, we did one. It's $3,000 because that's how much it costs when you do one gold medallion. Okay. The 250 silver medallions that they did, they're $65. Now it's got $35 in gold, silver in it, 34, whatever it is now. And they're doing it for $65, so they're going to make some profit on that, But it's cost plus 10% of doing 250. Now, they did 2,000 copper ones, and those are $5 each. Now, they were available Saturday and Sunday, and whatever's left over today. So I'm going to take a little run down there. They have a thing that says I'm just going to go down there. And, I got to do some stuff anyway today and errands and so on. I'll just kind of cruise on by the Capitol, go in there and buy me a couple of medallions because I can. I got one. I'm not getting the gold one. So we'll go ahead and do that. Now, one of the things that helped sell this was a friend of mine Dean, he goes, Ernie, my dad used to have a Centennial Territorial copper medallion in Arizona. I distinctly remember it as a kid playing with it and stuff. And I go, really? So I went online and I go, all right, Donna, do me a favor. Come over here and do eBay search on Arizona Centennial coin. Now, the coins that you see, let's go ahead and pull this up. Hold on a second. This right here is the coin now that they're doing that's coming out that they're distributing today. Okay? This is a copper version or the gold version, it looks like copper, of the 1 ounce medallion for Arizona Centennial. This is what you get, and that's what I'm going to go buy. Now, Donna, go ahead and look up the eBay. Now, what they do is they have the Territorial Centennial, which was in the 60s. It was to celebrate the 100 years of Arizona as a territory. Well, they did this copper medallion, and it had a Roadrunner on it and so on, and the Arizona seal and that kind of thing. So I went and looked for this and got, $36, buy now, done, gimme. Well, I'm getting them now. Friends don't believe me. They go, nuh-uh, really? Okay, I've got them as low as $7. So you order them on eBay, and you get these medallions that were around, 40 years ago. So you're going, okay, cool. So I got that one, gave it to Karen Johnson to use, and she went around all these legislators. Look, we already did it. Everybody, Janet Napolitano, Ms. Gestapo leader now, they signed it in, boom, done. But there were problems. Let me tell you what the problems were. In legislation, when you do this kind of stuff, what they do is they want to have control. They want to, be able to, massage this thing, and they vote for and whatever. But is that how the legislation actually comes out once it goes to legislative council? We knew better from past experience. We have to go over no matter what is voted for on the floor. That is voted on, done, that's what we want. It goes legislative council. What actually makes it in the law books? 2 different things. We had to check, and they kept changing certain things. Who are these people? We got to put back, but I just, we knew they'd do it. We know you're out there. We can feel you now. We know that you're afraid. You're afraid of us. You're afraid of change. We don't know the future. We aren't here to tell you how this is going to end. We're here to tell you how it's going to begin. We're going back to editing the next edition of Freedom's Phoenix digital magazine now, where we are telling the people what you don't want them to know. We're showing them a world without you, a world without rules and controls, without borders or boundaries, a world where anything is possible. Where we go from there is a choice we leave to you. Subscribe at freedomsphoenixeasy.com. That's freedoms with an S, phoenixeasing.com.
Anyone can publish on the internet, but not everyone is publishing material suited for online reading. According to the Yahoo Style Guide, it cautions that internet content has a few seconds, 3 or less, to encourage people to read more, to take action, or navigate to another one of your pages. So make it easy for readers to pick and choose. Isn't that the way you poke around online? Use short words, short sentences, short paragraphs, bulleted lists, and short pages. Front load what you write, putting the most important information at the beginning of headlines and paragraphs and sentences. Same goes for your keywords, what someone would likely type into the search box on Yahoo or Google. For more tips on communicating better online or in a job interview or everyday life, hit survivalspeech.com. I'm Holland Cook.
Are you on any medications? Are you getting your meds at a local pharmacy? If you are, you're likely paying more than you have to. There's a better way. Discount Prescription Services will get you your meds at discounts as high as 70%, and they'll deliver them right to your door. All you have to do is go to meds.freetalklive.com and click Become a Member on the left-hand side of the page. Their customer service is excellent. They will walk you through every step, and you'll save big time. Meds.freetalklive.com.
Instead of just listening, you can also watch. See the Liberty Radio Network's key New Hampshire-based live shows via our studio cam at cam.lrn.fm. Plus, you'll still be able to listen to the Liberty Radio Network via the cam feed in high quality 24/7, even when there's no live show being produced in our Keene studio. But wait, there's more. Our chat room is built into the cam page so you can interact with other listeners online. Listen, watch, and chat. All free at cam.lrn.fm. That's cam.lrn.fm.
Excuse me, is this where I get a license to start a new business?
I wouldn't be hasty. You have to get a license to go out of business, too, you know.
Oh, well, look, I've invented this little anti-gravity machine, see?
Oh, is that why you're walking 2 inches above the floor?
Oh, yes, it's very comfortable. Saves on shoe leather.
Yeah, well, you have to fill out these forms and report to the Human Services Department of Manpower Orientation and register with the Fair Employment Practice Commission, the Wage and Hour Division of the Employment Standards Administration, the State Sales and Income Tax Division, the Internal Revenue Service, and the Social Security Administration of the Department of Health, Education, and Welfare, and, of course, OSHA.
OSHA? I thought that was a Wisconsin.
You'll find out. Say, floating...
Yes, Ernie? Hello?
But free enterprise built this country. Think what could happen if we don't keep it free. A public service of this station and the Center for the Defense of Free Enterprise, Bellevue, Washington.
We just can't have people floating about unregulated, you know.
Do you love Twitter? Make sure you favorite LRN.FM Twitter account so you can receive our tweets at twitter.lrn.fm. That's twitter.lrn.fm.
And now, live from the studios of Freedom's Phoenix, Ernest Hancock.
Welcome back to Declare Your Independence with me, Ernest Hancock, here in Phoenix, Arizona, where tomorrow is Arizona's Centennial, 100 years as a state. And one of the benefits of us being, the last continuous state here, contiguous, or however you say it, here in America, it was, of course, we have Alaska and Hawaii came in later, but Arizona was one of the last mainland states. It was the last mainland state. It was New Mexico and then Arizona. In the Enabling Act that Congress did for Arizona to be a state, and tomorrow we'll try and have some experts on and people from the Historical Society and so on. We'll get some people to talk about it. But, the thing that was important to me is that we learned a lot. As I read, when you first started, it's the late 80s, early 90s, I'm getting involved in all kind of, what the heck is, this can't be right. This is not what they told me in junior high. This isn't the social studies class I remember. This isn't the civics government 101 kind of, I'm a bill, I'm just a bill. This is, this is something else, man. What they didn't tell me about this part. So you go and you read the deal. Then you look at other states and so on. Arizona being one of the last ones, it was very progressive. Now, this is in the progressive era, this progressive, whatever the heck that meant. And in their day, really what it meant was more and more power to the people. In Arizona, they made a big deal out of referendum, recall, and initiative. Here in Arizona, it's a percentage of votes in the last major election, yada, yada, yada. But basically, it comes down to this. For a couple 100,000 signatures, you can get any law put on the ballot to, people to vote on whatever. That's a chore. Or you can have a constitutional amendment put on with a few more signatures, about that many. So you go in and you put those on, people vote, and I want this. That was a big thing. Ooh, the people direct democracy kind of deal. Well, they also had recall in there. Now, referendums were, and I'll talk about recall in a second, but referendums were where people didn't like a bill, a law that the legislature had passed. They passed something, they go, oh, heck no. You're not raising this tax, you're not doing this, you're not making that illegal, you're not, legalizing it, whatever. So they go in and they get like half as many signatures, let's say 100,000. They go get the signatures on that within 90 days after they file it, and then it goes on the ballot, people get to vote on it. The legislature can send a referendum to the ballot in Arizona. And these definitions are different in each state, but here, another way a legislative referendum is they take either a constitutional or a statutory change, they put it on the ballot, they punt and say, look, we don't want to let the people decide on this one, whatever. So they put it out there, they vote on that. Then there was recall. Now, judges used to be elected here in Arizona. Now they're retained by vote or whatever, but there was a provision in there to where the people could recall judges. Well, President Taft was a judge, or had been. So he was like, oh, heck no. I am not going to sign for Arizona to become a state if you have the ability to recall judges in your Constitution. Hey, okay, we took it out. Became a state, put it back in. Nah. That's how it happened. I mean, immediately, they took it out. Okay, you're a state now. Okay, now we put it back in. Now what? You know? So that's kind of rebels from the beginning. So referendum, initiative, and recall. That is kind of in our state constitution. You'll look at Article 2, which is Declaration of Rights, okay? And it's very simple. You know, number 1, it says the supreme law of the land, United States Constitution. And like number 32, that goes, oh, yeah, and in case you didn't figure it out by now, go back to number 1. You know, refer back to, Section 1 where it says United States Constitution, supreme law of the land. Okay, cool. You know, what's that mean? There was a lot of other prohibitions against the government. It's like the Bill of Rights. It was more specific, all the things they can't do. So you'd think Arizona would be better off. It's just like anywhere else, wherever the courts say it is. But in law, what it says is pretty clear. That's why the Institute for Justice came here. They wanted to retire here, I guess. Clint Bullock came, you know what, we're going to do an Arizona chapter. And they came here and we're hooked up with the Goldwater Institute. And they are just, always suing about, somebody doing something stupid, in violation of the Constitution. Now, before them, it was a lot of libertarians and myself. We were really showing how this really worked here, and not so much that we get it changed or something. It was just exposing what was going on. Later, it become a cultural, political thing. It would change, like with, gun liberalization of gun rights and so on. So this has been a very good method of making sure that people understood what was going on. The internet changed everything. Now, more people know more about how bad these guys are. In legislation, when we've had so many examples, and we knew to watch it with this gold thing, because when you put the word gold in state legislation, you had Jesse Ventura came here in the Republican Senate caucus room here in Arizona. He sat there and said, there's CIA in the state capitals. They called me in when I first became governor in Minnesota, bring me down to the basement and want to explain it to me. He goes, that's just the way it is. So you got them here. And I go, yes, we do. And how do you know where they're at? Their legislative council. No matter what you vote on any legislation, sooner or later it goes to somebody that types it in and says, yeah, this is it. And they get it to the senator. Is this what you want? Yeah, whatever. Done, passed, done, go. They really look at it, and they'll change one word or two or do whatever they want. So we knew to look for a couple of things. Production of gold, sufficient quantity to supply all public demand. I knew there was no way in hell they'd let that one just, skate through. Then we wanted to make sure it was medallions in the plural, that you could do different denominations. It didn't have to be 1 ounce. Both of those things on multiple, at least 3 different occasions, as this made the process through, legislative council kept taking it out. Why? After specific instructions from the Senate, no, don't. That's on purpose. Don't. You guys, that's what got voted on. Floor, don't. You scum. Who are these people? Now, what we thought was going to happen, I tell you, quite honestly, this is what I thought was going to happen. There was no way they were going to pass this and have, gold being produced in the state. I didn't think that wasn't going to happen. Certainly if they knew we had anything to do with it. A libertarian thing. So what we did is we kind of kept it on the QT. We were down low. We'd be quiet. We'd go visit and we were talking about something else, gunny thing, or whatever. I rarely go down there over the past years. They might see me down there like once a year or something. Like I'll go down now to go get my coin. So we're there talking. One of the legislators, his name is Ron Gould. Well, better than most, but he was law enforcement. He was highway patrol, DPS kind of thing, became a legislator or whatever. I can't remember his background, but I remember campaigning and seeing him on the campaign trail in the 90s and so on. He really wanted to be a legislator. He's a legislator. He's more respected than others, but he's still one of them. We were out talking about the Dr. Paul thing had just started, getting going. And I'm going, Ron, man, come on board on this. I tell you need to do this libertarian thing. We've been talking about this for years. All this stuff on the camp. We've been having private conversations on the trail years ago. This guy, here it comes. Here it comes. Here. You guys don't understand it. You don't believe I know, but here it comes. Watch. Yeah. As I'm standing there, some Second Amendment advocate guys that were the ones that were responsible for getting concealed carry here without a permit or anything. They, carried the ball, doing a lot of that stuff. They were down there. they come up to me and they said, Ernie, how's that gold thing going with Karen Johnson? I guess she had told them. And I'm like, X-nay on the gold A kind of deal. I'm like, we're all right, fine. Kind of shh. 90 legislators. Who was the one legislator who voted against it? Ron Gould. And he's supposed to be, Mr. Good Conservative, America guy. The reason was because he knew we were behind it. And he didn't want to make a big deal out of it. He wasn't sure he wanted to just say, hey, man, I'm over here. Whatever excuse tax thing he used, whatever, it doesn't matter. I think he was the only one to vote against it. So that tells you the mindset of these people. They definitely don't want to give any street cred, anything to anybody, nothing. And we didn't until there was a retirement party for Karen Johnson. And it was at a legislator's house, which I just talked to last week on this state guard thing. And I'm going, look, yeah, blah, blah, blah. They're going to be their own worst enemy as they create this thing and RICO abilities and liability restrictions on them, and they can do whatever, and the state guard, and they can be mercenaries to other states and all. That's going to die of its own weight. They're going to be so stupid because they can't help themselves, and we'll just let that go. But that's part of Section 2 in the state constitution for militia. In Section 1, it's all about the unorganized militia. It's about, the second they touch that and try and put us under the adjutant general, that's when you know they're going bad. So he's taking care of that. At his home, we had a retirement party for Karen Johnson. A lot of the legislators were there and lobbyists and so on. And they were kind of surprised, libertarian activists were there. And it came out in our, little speech, I go, yeah, and all this great legislation you guys like the most, that was us. Who you think been writing this stuff? Karen was smart. She knew the good stuff. And one of the things was we finally got to where they are minting right now gold, silver, and copper. You go down and buy it. I'm going to get it today. What's the next step? I don't know. But we got a state producing gold, silver, and copper. Do you? It took us 5 years. Patience, my young Padawans. Patience. We'll be right back.